Hello and welcome to Glitch Please, the show where we talk about video games and how much we love them and we hate them and just have a wonderful and conflicting relationship with them every single week. I'm Ashley.
I'm Adam.
I'm Gus.
We're just waiting to see where the camera goes.
Yeah.
I'm Ryan. Hi.
We go where the camera goes. And I want to say a quick shout out to our sponsor for this episode, Blue Apron. We'll talk about them more a little bit later, but they are awesome if you like cooking or if you want to learn to cook.
Or if you like food.
Or if you like food.
I like food.
What if you're anti-food?
Also
No,
free
sorry.
food.
Okay.
So lots to talk about this week. A lot of news happening. There was a Nintendo Direct. We'll talk about that. There's some new stuff with DMCAs and fair use and Let's Plays and all that for us to talk about. More retro console goodness. Oh yeah, look how excited everyone is. As well as, it came out a couple of weeks ago at this point, but XCOM 2 War of the Chosen, the new content for XCOM 2, which is expansive enough that it almost could have just been a standalone.
Yeah, it does require you to own XCOM 2.
It does. For a long time, I thought it was kind of like Uncharted Lost Legacy, where it's building off of a previous game, but can be bought standalone. It is not. It is a DLC, but it is huge.
Very, very huge.
So we'll talk about that. But then also because I feel like strategy games like XCOM and now again with like Mario Rabbids, they're kind of making this nice little resurgence very recently. Talk about genres that have not been making resurgences, and if there's anything we can do to save them. Because we can save them, guys.
Right here.
Personally.
For
on
the
this
four
show.
of us,
Yeah, we can.
This
we'll
is a break
save
for us.
genres of games. All right, so first up, what have you guys been playing?
What have I been playing? I've been playing a lot of XCOM 2 War of the Chosen. I've been playing a lot of Battlegrounds. And,
Any more chicken dinners?
Yeah, had one this weekend. Mario Rabbids. And Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
So I'm all over the place these days.
Really happy Stardew Valley with Nintendo for certification for Switch. So they again. So their Chucklefish has been amazingly transparent, almost frustratingly so, about the whole process. They'll be like, it's with Nintendo, and they'll be like, but that doesn't mean that it's going to get through first. It's usually pretty common for games to get sent back a couple of times, to have a couple of things like fixed or changed before they actually go through the certification. So it's with them, but. So it's like just don't, man, I want all the updates, but I also don't want to know until I know that it's here.
Yeah, I'm kind of tempering my playing currently because I really would rather just be playing it on the Switch.
Yeah, you know what I'm really excited about too that the Chucklefish has not announced but teased is, have you seen the Spellbound game?
Yeah, I saw that. It was like
Oh,
yesterday or
dude.
the day before, right?
Yeah, so it's like a little bit of a cross between, it's like a Stardew Valley sort of life simulator, but then take Chucklefish's Starbound sort of design philosophy, mash in magic school influence,
Harry
and
Potter.
then you have it. Yeah, so
Oh my
it's-
God.
Well, they the Chucklefish had a I always think of him as Tayuri because that's what he is on Twitter. He did an interview with PC Gamer and was talking about the influences, and every single one listed made me go, yes, that much harder. Kiki's Delivery Service.
Cool.
Yes. The Tiffany Aching books by Terry Pratchett. Yes. Harry Potter. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Dude, that game sounds perfect.
Dope. And they haven't technically announced it yet.
Yeah,
but
he didn't even give it a name.
Right, they said it's right now everyone is calling it Spellbound because I guess that's the way they sort of code name all of their different games, like War Groove,
Which
is
definitely
their
already
upcoming
exists. There's no way there's not a Spellbound game already.
game.
There
Oh no,
is.
there absolutely is. There absolutely is. But their War Groove game they initially called Warbound while it was in development. So Spellbound's not a final name, but it's a cute name for a
cute
cute game. So I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, looks cool.
Sorry, got way off track on the whole Stardew.
Sound like
We're
it.
here to talk about games. It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll allow it.
I was not here the week you guys talked about Mario Rabbids, so.
I think I was not here either.
Okay, well, great. Well, then we can have a little bit of a side podcast over here, Gus.
How you
I-
doing?
So I started playing it. I'm really loving it.
What world are you on?
Like 2.
Okay.
I haven't spent that much time. I finally finished Persona 4. Everyone, 100 hours.
Ah.
Well done.
Good.
And So I started on that one. So I'm not super far into it, but everything about it I'm really loving.
It has no right to be as good as it is. I think it seems totally.
What does that mean?
When it was announced,
It's-
Mario and Rabbids, it seems like it's just going to be a dumb crossover game.
Yeah.
But it's so well polished. It seems like a Nintendo title. It's so well done, so well executed with all the Nintendo sensibilities.
You know what I found out yesterday is that it's actually not out in Japan yet, which never happens with a Nintendo game, and I was shocked and then realized it's because it's
a Ubisoft game.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's not a perfect game. I definitely have issues with it, but I think the characters are really well done. The World 3 boss, I believe, is probably my favorite
Oh my God, it's so
character in the entire game.
good. So good. Yeah.
And it's just good. I mean, yeah, it's really fun, and I'm glad it's out. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with downloadable
What are your
content.
What are your problems with it?
I think that there's not I don't like how late you get some of the characters. Like
Okay.
the last character you unlock like kind of halfway through World 4,
Right.
and it's like I wish I'd had this character more. All of the Nintendo Universe characters have that Overwatch ability. It's like, and they all call it different things, but it's like they all have the same ability. There's not enough variety amongst it. I also don't like that the cover is either 0, 50, or 100%.
Really?
Yeah,
I actually really like
I wish there was more nuance to it, like XCOM.
that.
like if you're around a certain type of angle, you might have a slightly better shot.
Right, or it takes into account like low cover may be damaged and give you less cover, or you could hide behind high cover, but if it's damaged, maybe you have like a not 100% cover.
It's uphill.
Right.
After playing XCOM, like I don't want that much chance involved. I just want to know I'm gonna hit, I'm not gonna hit, or there's a 50-50 chance, and it's been like perfectly on point for that. So
Yeah. I don't know. I just crave a little more depth on that
yeah,
side.
I want to see more skill tree stuff, but I guess we'll see that down the line.
Yeah, and I would grow frustrated sometimes. Like, for example, Peach has like her Overwatch ability, but she's got a shotgun. So
Yeah.
when it triggers most of the time, you're gonna end up shooting.
Why I don't use Peach.
friendly fire.
But
quite
I
a
use
bit.
fucking Rabid Mario though. That guy.
Rabid Mario's-
Holy
he's a boss.
shit.
Can you still take a shot that is a 100% failure?
Yes,
Why?
to destroy
'Cause you can
cover.
destroy cover.
Okay.
And get coins out of it.
Okay. That makes more sense.
But yeah, it's still a great game. Love it.
Yeah, they've announced as well, I think that they're doing a season pass or something. So, which I don't think anyone is terribly surprised by. I think the game could have had more worlds to it. There's the 4 worlds, and the people that I've spoken to who finished it said that it was really a great experience, but did feel a little bit short, which I imagine is where the season pass is coming into it. So
Well, I felt
we'll
like-
probably get like a world per pack.
We could have seen more world variety, but I felt like some of the worlds got long.
I thought that within the worlds the variety was great, like because it did go from like one thing to the other. It wasn't one theme throughout every world, and I think it's a really reasonable amount of content. Like just beating the 4 worlds, and then if you want to go back and get either 3 stars, or if you want to do the challenge missions, I think it's fantastic. Like I really like
How long
it.
did it take? Like 15 hours or so?
I haven't actually
know how
beaten
much-
it, but I'm about 15 hours in already,
Yeah.
and I'm in somewhere in World 4.
Okay.
So
Yeah, between 15 and 20 hours is where I'd
that
estimate
to me
it.
is like great.
It's solid.
Yeah.
I had it for traveling to and from PAX, which was great. Great to play that on the plane.
Yeah.
Makes the plane ride go like nothing. It
Dude,
Yeah, how
no
was
kidding.
PAX?
was good. Saw a dinosaur.
I rode that dinosaur.
Ryan rode the
I have a
dinosaur.
picture on that dinosaur
And the
somewhere in
dragon.
the world.
How Long to Beat places the game at about 20 hours, and the season pass is $20 and gives you like steampunk weapon skins. But also
Like
in fall they're going to release new solo challenges and co-op maps, and then 2018 more story content.
I haven't tried the co-op yet. I'd be curious to see what that's like.
We can go at that shit.
Yeah,
It'll be
we'll
fun.
do it.
Yeah.
Be fun. What have you been up to, Ryan?
Well, I've been playing, obviously more Destiny 2. I guess the main update
You guys
on
tried
that
the raid,
is
right?
we tried the raid yesterday. It is an experience that you're going to have to settle in for. It's especially if you don't know what you're doing. It's actually probably the most uninformed we've ever gone into a raid, which leads to a lot of you're dumb, why aren't you
Why
doing
haven't
the
you done
thing?"
this
Yeah.
thing that I possibly can't know about because it just came out today? Like, come on.
But well, once you figure it out, it's like, all right, can you stop
Yeah.
not doing the thing?
Yeah.
So let me guess, was Ryan a little frustrated?
My main frustration was just that we had Heroes and Halfwits in the morning, so we couldn't start until about 2:30 or 3. And well, we started at 3 and had to leave at 5. So we only got like 2 hours in, and 2 hours on that raid is nothing if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I did hear something about it taking, like, someone completed it in like 4 hours.
Yeah, I think it was about 4.5, 5 hours. The
Yeah,
first game
I know that'll, but it can also come down to like an hour and a half.
Oh,
if you know
there's
what
us.
you're doing.
Yeah, this was, I mean, the 4 or 5 hours was the first run through the thing, so they were all figuring out the puzzle, spending time, trying
Yeah.
to understand what to do and when.
Because there's a certain charm of going into a raid not knowing what to do.
Right.
I think so, absolutely. I love the aesthetic of this raid, though. There's some parts of this raid that I wasn't going to watch it, but my friend was playing, and I wanted to see him do good. And man, some parts of this raid are so exciting. Like, there's a little gauntlet where, like, you have some of your team running around the outskirts of the level, and it's like there's like a tic-tac-toe board, and you have to call out to your friends of which level of the board of the thing to shoot, and then they clear you through it, and then you like it's like continues on that progression.
Oh, I can't wait to feel that.
And then at one point, you're all running with these bombs, and you all have to coordinate which hole you're going to go through, and the floor is falling out from under you. Fuck, man, it looks
that
so
sounds
good.
amazing.
Sounds like a Friday
Yeah.
night, am I right?
We didn't get out of the bathhouse.
Yeah, okay, well, we got some work to do.
And that is
Good
literally
luck-
a part
good-
of it.
Good luck in the hunt.
You killed bathers.
Good luck in the hunt.
We killed people that were taking baths. That was the part of the raid that we got to.
At least they died clean.
They did. Well, I made them dirty
Yeah.
with my bullets in their blood.
Yes, we got that part. How about you, Adam?
I've been playing a couple things. A lot of Destiny.
You got a sweet character now. You posted all
Dude.
all your gear up on Twitter.
I updated it, but I haven't taken an updated screenshot. But I love the aesthetics of Titans in this game. And I don't really have a problem with the shaders, because I have a lot of them, but I can see why people would.
I think the main thing with the shaders, I've now had more time to think about it and boil down the issue, is that in addition to being a microtransaction, they're consumable.
Yeah, the fact that they're consumable,
At least if they were one or the other.
Yeah.
I have an idea to fix them.
You should be able
Yes.
to buy them.
Yeah, well, if you can. If you
Oh, that is not my character. I was trying on those arms to make fun of him. There's another. I said those arms look like
It's
the
okay.
armor.
No, it's fine, Adam,
those
it's
arms-
fine.
You look pretty.
those
They look
arms
like water
the
wings.
armor version of Synthol. But no, I have like a full set of black and gold armor. But I changed it to like silver and blue because I want it to be a little lighter colored.
But if instead of dropping like 5 of the thing, you drop 1 of the thing, but it's not consumable. So if they still want to be like, you're gonna have to work to collect an entire set, then you would still have to work. It's just you wouldn't have to work every single time you want to change your gear out. You would still have to work 4 times for your weapon, another time for your sparrow if you want it to match, a couple
Guns
times for the
and
guns. So
Mario.
you can still say there is a grindy element to it, but you keep what you earn.
I think I would be okay with it as a random drop and a microtransaction. One, because I get 3 or 4 of those bright engrams a day just by leveling up. So you get a lot of shaders. But if you got enough, if you get 10 of one shader, you should be able to just buy them for permanently with Glimmer, with in-game currency.
Yeah.
But
Or spend a certain number and be change this to a permanent version.
yeah, that game is so much fun with friends. Unfortunately, the only people I have
I
playing
don't have friends.
I know. I'm playing it with Grace right now, and so we don't even have a full fire team to run the
You're on
Nightfall.
PS4 though?
Yeah.
You want to be my fire
Yes,
team?
we need to. I need to run strikes. I need to run nightfalls. Actually, I don't need to run strikes.
Yeah.
I need to run nightfalls. I'm about 284 now power level, so I'm raid ready, but I don't have a raid team.
Are y'all gonna stick to console, or is anyone gonna
I'm gonna
I'll
go
switch to
to
PC.
I'm gonna go to PC, but I'm gonna have to maintain both.
Okay. Yeah, I'm waiting. I haven't played yet because I'm waiting for the PC version.
I at this point I'm you know what? I'll play it now. I will rebuy it on PC. Yes, I get that that's kind of a ridiculous expense, but I know that Bernie's gonna want to play it on PC. The boys are gonna want to play it on PC, and then that way we can get a full team all together, and that'll be a lot of fun. So I'm more than happy to play and learn everything now and figure out exactly how I want to do things for the PC version. And also, I really enjoyed the campaign. And
Dude.
I finished that out, and I had a really good time.
The campaign was astonishingly good.
I look like a hobo,
I mean, it
but
was
that's
good.
okay.
No,
Let's
like,
not
for-
go
for-
astonishingly good.
So
Compared to the first
reason,
one,
the reason I
maybe.
say astonishingly is primarily these last 5 missions were so much fun, and I'm not going to say what it is, but the payoff at the end is it's such a like a love letter to Destiny fans, like the way they do it. At least I think.
You mean
Like,
the final mission?
no, like the end payoff. At
Like
the
after the final mission.
yeah.
Okay.
Like I think it was like something I just didn't expect to happen, and I without talking about it, we'll talk about it after.
Yeah, I'm trying. I've beaten the game, and I'm trying to really run down what you're talking about because
Yeah.
nothing about it was like, wow.
Now, are you talking about the after credits scene?
The console says sorry and then spits
I'm
$60
talking about
out.
where you get to go after the game ends.
Oh, I see.
Thank you.
Yeah. Regardless.
your
so
final
At that
destination.
point, I don't. The place you go is probably spoiled already.
well, I wouldn't want to spoil it for someone that didn't get to see it because that to me was like the biggest payoff. I went like, holy shit, but it's fine.
I will say the story, yeah, huge step up from Destiny 1. The final fight was kind of anticlimactic with the fire team. It was just like, I
The
would kick
final
his
fight.
ass.
The final fight.
I went through the whole thing solo.
The final fight seemed a
probably
little
more fun.
easy. There was like I had a couple gripes with like how you were the only guardian with the light.
Yeah, they needed to stop saying that. There's no reason for them to say
Surrounded
that.
by,
They
like
start-
anytime you went to the social area or went
Right.
anywhere, really, you'd see people with way more light than you.
In the end game, they just
Power.
in the end game they justify why there are other guardians again.
Yeah.
But that was my one gripe. I thought that by the end of the game, you were able to like almost sympathize with the bad guy, and I thought like giving the enemy that level of like depth.
That was always a good move.
Rather
yeah.
than just like, oh, he's a big bad guy wants to kill
Right.
human. Like, I thought that was really nice.
I agree.
But that game's dope.
What else have you been playing? Anything?
I played some. You know that board game I brought in last week?
Yeah.
I played that, and my God, is it good! Like, so it's called Mechs vs Minions. It's all scenario based. So I went through the tutorial and the first scenario with my friends, and essentially the game walks you through with a story and like with the tutorial. So it'll tell you like piece by piece like what to do and like introduce the rules to you as you play it rather than sitting there and reading a rule book. And that's the first scenario.
Nice.
And so essentially you're a bunch of yordles, you've built mechs, and now you're in like mech school. And so you put like your cards in that.
Yordle.
Yes, you put your cards in that board
I
there.
wasn't the only one.
Yordles are a thing from the League of Legends universe. I don't know either. I haven't
They're like
played.
small furry creatures.
There
Yeah,
you go.
because since this is all building off
Okay.
League of Legends lore, I figure there's a lot of things I'm not going to know about it.
So yeah, well the lore is, even if you don't know League of Legends, it's super fun. Like they have a radio play to like listen to while you're playing the game. That'll tell you like the story of it. So essentially, you put your cards in that board there from left to right, and that'll be like, I want to move 2 spaces forward, and then you want to rotate 90 degrees to the right, and then you want to attack anything in front of you. And you get those cards by drafting, and every player takes one. And but the interesting part comes in where like you need to accomplish specific things. Like you'd want to go kill those minions, but if you take damage from a minion, you never die in the game, but you take a damage card. And the damage cards will be something like, okay, you will have to move 2 spaces to the left right now. And so you'll take your character and you'll throw yourself completely off because you were on one track to do one thing, and now you're like completely in no man's land. But then some of the cards that do damage to you will be permanent. So you'll roll the dice, and then wherever it lands, say it lands on 3, you'll have to place it over your already programmed card, and then it's on your board. So every time you execute, like every turn, you'll have to go through that, and like every turn, you'll have to like accidentally move left 2 turns because you have stuck controls. It's like it makes for like really goofy fun, and as you beat minions, your whole team levels up, and you unlock abilities, and as the scenarios go on, the game evolves, and it's fucking cool, and I
sounds great.
want to play more of it.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
I love it. So a lot of things happened this week. We will get into those. Why don't we do some news? So a lot of things happened. We recorded Glitch Please on Thursday mornings, but yesterday afternoon was a Nintendo Direct where Nintendo went through really their Switch lineup for about the next 6 months. It was really focusing on Q4 of 2017, and it seems like they didn't specify it, but it seems like Q1 of 2018 because They didn't really talk about anything that's not coming by spring 2018. So there was, obviously they talked about Super Mario Odyssey since that's coming on October 27th. They showed 2 new worlds, Bubblain and Shiveria. What do you think Shiveria is? What kind of world do you think it is, Ryan?
Shiveria.
Yes. What kind of world would
Spell
you
it.
think of Shiveria?
Are you using it in a sentence? I went to Shiveria for vacation.
No, I got that's help. Thank you. Yes, that was. It's a land made entirely out of goat cheese,
That sounds delicious.
doesn't it?
Very delicious. Inaccurate, but delicious.
Damn
It's
it.
the ice world. So little Mario's like shivering.
Shiver. Okay.
And also,
CH is where I was going.
Oh,
I
I got you when you said goat cheese.
Yeah.
I knew. Yeah.
no, was it chèvre?
I don't know how it's
Chèvre?
said.
Cheese.
Something like that. Yeah.
The other world was Bubblain.
Bub. It's like bub, like B-U-B, or like
Bubblain.
It's not like a bunch of hey bub kind of people hanging out.
You don't know that.
It's prison and you just Bubba.
But they,
Bring that
it's,
pretty mouth over. Come here, Mario. I want to put your hat on my Jimmy.
you know, you make fun, but
Oh.
it turns out we learned something entirely new about Mario, and that's that he does indeed have nips, and he's all
He
clean.
had a little nip slip in the trailer.
Yeah,
What?
look at that! Look at that!
He is way too unhairy.
No,
He's
he's Italian.
Like
He's-
no one with that mustache has that little
I
chest
don't buy
hair.
this.
Well, not naturally, but we now know that Peach prefers her dudes smooth. He must go through a lot of upkeep to keep
That
his
is
lady
like
happy.
a week
What-
in the wax
What
table.
do you think's under the trunks?
That's where he keeps
Just
it all.
all hair. Just all hair. But yeah, so everyone's online is
buy him 3
freaking out
sizes
about
so-
Mario's
too big.
nipples, which is a good time. But yeah, that's like they're like a tropical
I don't like
island.
shirtless Mario. Put it back on.
He's still wearing a hat.
He doesn't
It
even-
it doesn't-
Do you want him to wear a tank top? What?
He doesn't have a farmer's tan or anything.
I mean, he fucking swam in other games with all his clothes on. Put his fucking clothes on.
No. Now with the graphic power of the Switch, you can render the nips.
Yeah.
Render nipples.
Not only that, but now they can sell an entire line of Mario swim trunks.
As you know,
I didn't
Don't
realize
tell me-
I wanted those until
don't
right
tell me
now,
you're
and
not
I
on board.
absolutely want those now.
And so they showed those new worlds. They also announced a Switch bundle. This is not a like a crazy out there prediction that I made, but I just want to say I was totally right. They were waiting to release pure red Joy-Cons for Super Mario. They're in fact releasing an entire bundle. They'd better sell those Joy-Cons standalone.
Yeah.
You know
but
they will.
They
I need to buy a new Joy-Con. Mine's still broken.
no.
God.
still?
I never fixed it. It stays on.
Yeah.
But the bundle has the red Joy-Cons and also comes with a Switch carrying case that's Mario themed. And it's actually pretty cute. They announced the release date for Xenoblade
Okay,
Chronicles.
now that you're done with the stuff
Okay.
I'm interested in,
Yeah.
can I say how much I hate watching Nintendo Directs?
Why?
Because it's like I have to listen to all of this other shit I don't care about.
Why don't
And
you just watch?
don't.
Why don't you just look at the Reddit thread that highlights the?
Yeah.
That's what I need to do. Like,
afterwards?
because I was like, I never watch Nintendo Directs. I was like, because it seems like it's all shit I don't care about. I said yesterday I was like, I'm gonna watch this one,
Oh, and then you sat through like
and
10
then
minutes of Xenoblade Chronicles.
I sat through like 30 minutes of Nintendo 3DS shit, then 10 minutes of Xenoblade Chronicles, and then all the other shit we're gonna talk about now. Anyway, there was some other cool stuff we'll get to eventually. I just wanted to rant before you continue.
They dated Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for December 1st. They showed off a lot of gameplay for it. I would agree.
A lot of
agree.
gameplay for it.
It was maybe a little bit too much for a direct. It's something that anyone who's interested in the game would love to see, and it's really good for them to be showing off all the different systems and the characters and the way the whole thing works. But if you are really interested in the Mario stuff or whatever, then it felt like a bit much maybe for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Regardless, date December 1st. So that's a pretty wide range of genres that Nintendo's got coming this year for the Switch. Like year one, that's pretty good. They had their open world RPG, they got the fighting game, they got their multiplayer shooter game with Splatoon, they've got their sort of platformer puzzle adventure game with Mario, now they've got their JRPG, not to mention all the other
Turn-based strategy
titles.
with Mario Rabbids.
Turn-based strategy.
Talk about the first-person shooter that's coming out.
Yeah, that was interesting.
What the fuck?
What did you think
man?
about that?
It's insane.
I did not expect it when they said
No.
Bethesda. I was like, okay, are they going to do Doom? And id Software, I was like, Are they doing Doom on the Switch?
Doing Doom on the Switch. So Bethesda's been teasing this. You've seen Pete Hines in an interview said there's a game that they hadn't even talked about that was still coming in 2017. They hadn't told anyone. And then walked it back on Twitter and then was like, no, the tweet was a joke. There is definitely a game coming. And this was that game.
Huh.
Nope, this was the game.
I like no. It's the game. I like that this is coming. I don't like that he said a game that they haven't talked about.
Well,
because obviously they've talked about Doom before. That makes it sound like there's an original IP coming for the Switch.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that Doom's coming to the Switch. It's awesome.
Yeah, so Doom is coming.
Dude,
There's a
the
lot of
more
people
portable
excited.
games, the better. Like if for someone with a Switch, that's a good thing. I think
I
Doom
guess
is-
if they didn't
I
have
like
it on
playing
any other
Doom.
platform.
I like playing Doom on the PC more than anything. But like the option to play it somewhere else is awesome too.
Yeah, that was my opinion on the Doom thing is I'm very happy it's coming to the platform. I probably won't play it.
Yeah, I might not.
But if you don't have another way to already play Doom, then it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would say it's great for that first market kind of people, because Doom was a great game, but it's not like hugely replayable. Like I'm not dying. It was a great experience, and I think it ended exactly where it should end, and I have no desire to play it again.
Sure.
Well, it's a little bit like Skyrim, which also got dated November 17th. So
At least
that's
Skyrim,
like
you can do different things.
That's like 6 years and a week after it originally came out and it's hitting Switch.
I can see going back to Skyrim and doing a totally different game than what I played the first time. Doom, you're just gonna play the same thing.
I think that every single time,
And
I will
still-
build.
Yeah.
I will build like a battle mage, and then within a half hour, I'm gonna be a thief archer again. So, you know,
That's
You
funny.
are
That's
what
even
you are.
that was even their like selling point during the Nintendo Direct was like, you may have played this game before, but you can play it a bunch of different ways.
and I was like, that's optimistic.
Yeah.
But I won't. I will be the head of every faction again. I will be exactly what I was before because, well, I don't know.
Maybe someday I'll
It's like
beat it.
it's like Gravity.
Yeah.
So that got dated. Oh, Wolfenstein 2 is also coming to the Switch. That's not coming till 2018 though. So it's not going to be day and date with the other
New
versions.
Colossus?
Yeah, New Colossus. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah, New Colossus is hitting sometime 2018. I'm assuming spring 2018 since that's sort of the window they were talking about games in.
I wonder how they're gonna look compared to their
Probably worse. But
Simplified, I think.
yeah.
Simplified.
how simplified,
They showed
thing is-
some
the thing is-
footage.
and it looked.
I was watching it on my phone, so
Which is about a good analog.
yeah, so I really can't say.
Yeah. Let's see what else. The runaway highlight for me of the Switch stuff that they talked about, besides Mario, was a new game that they announced called Project Octopath Traveler. That's a working name,
Yeah.
which is
They
good
should-
because that's a weird name. But there's like a lot of weird names in games.
It's made by the.
It's made by the Bravely Default team.
Yes, that's the one.
And it's coming spring 2018, so it's pretty quick. And they announced it and dropped a demo. So there's a demo
Oh, there's
of
a
it
demo.
Which
available
Ben's played.
on
Oh, fuck.
the eShop already. They dropped it yesterday.
I love the way it
It's
looks.
already got English voice acting in it. This seems like pretty ready to go. But what's interesting is they're calling it a demo, but they also said in the direct that they really they want to get people's feedback on it. So this is a demo they're calling a beta where so many demos. Wait, this is a beta they're calling a demo, whereas a lot of damn it,
A lot of betas
I
they
messed
call
this
it-
up. Yes,
A lot of times they call it beta. That's actually just a demo.
yes.
Okay.
And this is like the opposite.
What do you? I can tell that. I love the art style, but I think for a lot of people it might be polarizing because some people would just want one or the other. They want 3D or they want
Working title.
2D. Yeah.
I really like the tilt shift effect they've got on it. That makes it all feel like you're running around with miniatures,
Yeah.
kind of. Just it's sort of this weird. The characters look 2D, but running around in these 2D, 3D environments that all look tiny. I think it's charming. I think it's really unique and cool. Anytime I see a screenshot or a clip of that game, I'm gonna know it's that game. I'm not gonna mistake it for anything else.
What do they call it? 2D, 3D?
2D HD.
2D HD.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
2D.
No.
Stupid term, because it's not 2D.
HD 2D?
HD 2D.
Where's
HD?
R2D2? I mean, fucking hell.
Yeah, so the terminology, whatever, name, not final.
HD 2D.
But the demo is in the eShop. In fact, immediately after the direct, the eShop basically went down because
crashed.
so many people went to download it. And
even people that have no interest in it will go download it in a situation like that. It's like something. They announce something and anybody can get it.
yeah, they announced was it Dragon Quest Builders 2?
Sweet like Minecraft background going on over there.
Yeah. Well, the Dragon Quest Builders they were showing off that's coming next year in 2018 also has a very Minecraft aesthetic to it, but then crossed with Dragon Quest, and it's really cute.
2D.
It looks great.
Dragon Quest Builders
HD
always look
2D.
beautiful.
HD
2D.
So
Isn't Dragon Quest? That's already out on another
The
platform.
first one is.
Yeah.
yeah, so it's Dragon Quest Builders 2,
Okay.
and it looks really great. Like all the games they showed off just look nice and unique and cool. They talked about some smaller stuff as well. They new Splatoon content.
What content was there going to be?
New maps, new weapons, and like there's one that's quite cool. It looks like an umbrella, and so you can pop up like a circle of shields,
Okay.
which is like pretty cool. You could like barricade yourselves in essentially, and then like push out.
Yeah, all right.
And the new map looks really cool. I can't remember what it's called, but I love all the Splatoon 2 maps anyway, so it's nice that they're just adding more content. There's a new fighter in ARMS. They announced Lyn for Fire Emblem Warriors. They announced new Snipper Clips content. So there's a bunch of...
Basically, they announced a new version of Snipper Clips.
Basically.
And it's going to retail. And if you have the old version of Snipper Clips, you can buy the new version as DLC in the original version.
Yes, but
it was
if you,
really weird.
But if you don't have the original Snipper Clips, you can buy it standalone.
So it was just add more challenges, or?
Yeah, I loved Snipper Clips. It was a lot of fun, really great. I played 4-player co-op, and we all had a really good time. But if I had one criticism about it, it's that there wasn't a lot of replayability, and that it was a little bit short. But again, it was short for 4-player, which was not, I think, their focus in making it. But regardless, it was a really cool mechanic. It was a really nice, unique game, and I'm glad to see them doing new stuff with it.
Yeah, they added new challenges, and they also added a new, I guess, option where when your characters spawn, they don't necessarily spawn as that default shape. They can spawn as a random shape, and then you have to figure out how to
make them fit.
how to make them fit. Yeah, so it's just, that
it was
seems
a fun
interesting.
little
I think
experience, but it was
that's
pretty short.
Maybe an attempt at the replayability.
Maybe. That makes a lot of sense. They announced a couple of 3DS things. So in addition to they announced a new 2DS XL that's Pokeball.
Right.
And it is so cute.
You can't have the other one, though.
Yeah, no Pikachu. Not here. But they did announce there's another 2DS XL. It's white with orange trim. For Japan, they actually announced completely different colors, which I found unique. They for Japan, they announced a black one with green trim, and a white one with I immediately thought of you because I know that you're all about that 2DS.
So all about it.
And then they also announced a
Except his
white
region lock.
with lavender trim, which looks like
Do you think
it was
they-
made for Mika.
They do like a study on like what culture would appreciate what colors the most when they
Maybe.
make these decisions, or?
They might. I like the white with orange trim, but at this point in the life cycle of the 3DS, I already have a new 3DS XL. And while I could get the 2DS, because I don't really use the 3D, I always turn it on for the first couple of minutes. See, isn't the orange cute? It's cute.
Kind of like Portal colors.
They just need to stop supporting that and focus on the Switch.
That's my thing.
I don't.
That's my thing. Is they announced a bunch of new games for the 2DS. There's they dropped Minecraft for 3DS. They were like, oh, and it's available now. They
Coming
announced
now to another platform.
Yeah, Minecraft is just going to be everywhere.
It is everywhere.
Yeah.
Where is it not at this point?
I can't wait for like refrigerator edition.
They might. They also announced.
Someone's phone's buzzing.
I bet it's on
That's
TI-83.
mine, and I don't know what that area code is. So,
Well, TI-83 would be interesting.
I've seen Doom on TI-83.
Wow.
That was
Yeah, I
back in
think-
the day, man. That
I
was-
think 3DS really was the last platform that Minecraft wasn't on. So it's there now.
All right.
Yay.
And they announced like Mario Party, the top 100 for 3DS. So no Mario Party for Switch
Wish
yet.
that had been on the Switch.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
as much as I love the colors and the way these new 2DS XLs look, I'm pretty much moved over to the Switch now. That's the console that goes in my bag every day. That's what I carry around with me.
And it was cool with Mario Party Top
Oh yeah,
100.
and the Vita. Hey, look at this.
It was cool with Mario.
I bought a Vita. I finished a game and then
You
bought
found
the
a
Vita.
place that still carries a Vita in stock?
Yeah, you know what it's
Japan.
called? Amazon.
Okay.
It's called Amazon. I got the import-wide version.
I was happy
I'm
that.
gonna play Persona 3. I'm gonna play the Dancing
Have you
Fans.
opened it yet?
No, I'm gonna. It came last night. I'm gonna replay Persona 4 again. I'm gonna platinum it because I got Andy all those trophies. Anyway, sorry. Moving on.
I'm happy
so-
Mario Party Top 100. You only need one copy to play with your friends.
That's great. That's great.
That is nice.
But I'm not gonna invest in new
Like-
2DS hardware because I don't want that anymore.
Yeah.
That's not where
Like
I'm
you said,
at with Nintendo
I've got the
stuff.
Switch. That's what goes in my bag when I
Right.
travel.
So I know that they had committed to continuing to support 3DS, but I'm like, I have one, maybe don't. Let's all move on together. But it's, you know what, it's fine, we'll survive. We'll survive. But I agree with you, I wish they would just go all in.
Yeah.
Any other major thoughts from the Nintendo Direct? No? Okay.
Nope.
So, also Nintendo news, we'll just go with that. Nintendo has announced that they are, you know how the NES Classic, no one could find one?
Right.
Good news, they're gonna do them again.
Super Nintendo through 2018.
Yes, so previously they had announced the Super Nintendo Classic Edition. They'd only announced it through the end of this year, which I think is part of why everyone panicked, because they thought if I have this 4-month window to even get one, and supplies are going to be limited, and it's going to be a nightmare, and so everyone is just freaking out trying to get one, and it causes all these issues. So they have said they'll continue manufacturing.
Little bit of history. I do believe Reggie Fils-Aimé also said they were going to continue supporting the NES Classic late last year, and then they didn't.
Well, they did through March.
I never saw it again.
I-
They did in theory, but it never really manifested
I got
itself.
one. I got a personal one because Nintendo actually sent us one, and we've got it in the office. But I wanted one of my very own, and I ended up getting it on Best Buy's very last shipment, which was in March, I think, March or April, and so that's how I ended up getting one, and it was, it was a nightmare. We were all trying to get in on this one final stock refresh. I managed to get one. Someone else managed to get one, but like 3 people didn't. So it was kind of a nightmare. They swear up and down that it's going to be better with the SNES Classic, that they've manufactured a bunch more.
it's
You don't
already
need
been
to
great
buy it
so
off
far.
eBay. Right. But just the same, they are extending it into 2018. So that's good for the people who want to get one.
They may have kind of I can't remember words. They may have kind of projected this move a little bit when they were like begging people not to pay more than retail price for it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they should make more.
Yeah.
And have
Go
inventory.
figure.
Yeah.
I agree completely. But they are going to do another run of the NES Classics in 2018 as well. No date on that yet, but they are going to come again. So if you
Why
didn't
does
get
it
one and
take
you've
so
been mad
long?
about it,
They know how to make them.
maybe they'll just alternate between doing runs.
Why? Why not make both?
If there's anything we know for sure about Nintendo is they do not understand the law of supply and demand.
Or they just ignore it completely. They did say that Reggie said when they announced the second run that they kind of apologized for the lack of stock on the first one. They said that their research had showed there wasn't a huge demand for retro consoles. That may have come from those sort of third-party
They need to fire that researcher.
consoles. Well, obviously everyone loves the retro games, but maybe they were looking at those, like, the really shitty, like, plasticky, gross, super cheap third-party ones. Like there's that Atari one that everyone's like, don't get this
I don't think
thing.
anybody's buying that one.
Right. So if they were basing their research off those, that may be where they were getting that not a lot of people wanted it. But coming from first party, where you, with Nintendo, can be somewhat assured of the overall quality of it, a lot more demand. Like, I don't buy the third-party versions, but I will buy the first-party one.
As it was selling, and as they're still making it in the factory, be like, oh, maybe we underestimated this.
Make
Let's
more.
continue the production run.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
I agree. I don't know why they ended it maybe there was some contractual thing with the
only thing
manufacturing.
I can think, is that like the factory has a lead time for production,
I'm sure
and they
it
had booked a
does.
certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And then the
factory
factory was going to like
repurposed.
move on
Right.
to
That's the
some
only thing I
other
can-
thing that had another
retools and they have to get
contract.
back.
Yeah, so I don't know what it was. I think it was not the best end result for consumers, but I'm happy they're at least doing another run for people who didn't get one who wanted one.
You'll get another chance not to get it.
Yay, disappointment.
All right, and final news for this week, the big one at least is, so there was a situation, and it's like trying to navigate a minefield, which is PewDiePie during
do it.
a live stream dropped the M-bomb very casually during a game of Battlegrounds.
I wouldn't say it was casual. I say it was aggressive.
aggressive.
Well, but I mean,
Yeah.
like he did it without even like thinking about
Yeah,
it.
Yes.
sure.
And
As if it was totally normal.
yeah, well, and through doing so, inadvertently reignited the whole debate about fair use and Let's Plays and DMCAs and like, is gameplay and streaming considered fair use or not, and everything, because Campo Santo, the developer of Firewatch, one of their guys, Sean Vanneman, announced via Twitter that that PewDiePie was essentially banned from doing Let's Plays or streams in their games ever again, and also because he had already done one in Firewatch, they were going to issue a DMCA against that video and get it taken off because they wanted nothing to do with him.
Do you think at this point he's just actively trying to destroy people who make a living on YouTube? Because it's
PewDiePie?
sort of, yeah, I mean, he set off the last adpocalypse, basically.
He didn't.
He kinda did.
He was part of it. He was one of the many ingredients.
He was a huge part of it.
He was a huge, yes, that whole incident was a huge part of it, but it was already sort of gaining momentum because of, in the UK, Google was getting like pulled up in front of the government to explain why UK tourism ads were appearing before ISIS extremist videos. And that was
It's a good question.
and that
Good
kicked off
question.
a huge boycott from a bunch of major advertisers in the UK. A bunch of US advertisers followed. Then the whole PewDiePie thing happened, which with the sign with the Fiverr, which did not help at all. It really exacerbated the issue and made it a bunch worse. But because a lot of people are not necessarily aware of the UK government thing, he has taken the brunt of it for sure. And to, a few months later have this happen as well is difficult for sure. I mean, he's not going to suffer. He his audience is very familiar with the way he works, with his sense of humor. It is not the first time he has used language like that. He used to use it a lot more, in fact, and has, over the past several years, been tamer.
I mean,
But
there's a lot of PewDiePie apologists out there, but
There's a lot of them.
it's real hard to navigate through that.
57 million of them.
And to be perfectly honest, I don't have any reason to suspect that he is actually a racist. I just assume that, I guess in the culture in which he was raised, it is not as charged of a word as it is in our culture here. I mean, it's still, I mean, he should know. He should know better. But
Nah, I don't want to like forgive him like that. I mean,
I'm not forgiving him. I'm not forgiving him. He should know better. He's on the internet. He's one of the he's the biggest YouTube personality. You're a fucking idiot. But
Well,
he is a product of his raising.
To his credit, to some degree, he did issue an apology video and said that he was I know apology videos are only worth their weight if you change your behavior, but he did acknowledge that he was a fucking idiot.
He did.
He also was sorry if you were offended.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was very sorry.
Never
if you
say
were
that. That is wrong.
So that whole there's the whole debate going on about whether that word is acceptable, and it's used online by a bunch of people anyway. How is this any worse in his case, and so on and so forth.
So Jack showed me, and I wish I knew I could credit the source on this, but he showed me a great tweet the other day, which was if Eminem made it through his entire career without saying that word, fucking PewDiePie can.
Yes, I would agree. It's on a personal level. It's not language that I like, but does Campo Santo have a right to DMCA him over it? That's
where it comes to destroying our industry again. Yes.
Right. That's where it gets pretty tricky. So Campo Santo decided that they were not. They wanted nothing to do with PewDiePie. They didn't want to be associated, and they felt that by allowing him to have videos of their games, they were tacitly supporting him and that kind of behavior. And so they issued a DMCA against his Firewatch Let's Play. And they acknowledged that they've probably made money off him doing a Let's Play in their game because he then exposed it to tens of millions of subscribers, but that they were like, they didn't feel like that was worth it. They DMCA'd it, and that has sort of ignited a debate about whether game developers should be able to do that, because Campo Santo in an FAQ on their website has there's a can I stream, can I do Let's Plays? And the answer is yes, please do. We're fully supportive, and also you can monetize them. And so there's now a debate going on about whether that whether DMCAing is sort of in violation of that, or whether you can go ahead and change that at any time for any person.
Well, okay, the real issue here is it has nothing to do with this particular instance of it. I mean, when presented like that, you go, well, yeah, I mean, obviously they would not want him to benefit from their work. It makes total sense. And I mean, it's all very easy to agree with that. The problem is, if that sets a legal precedent, that takes down the entire Let's Play industry eventually, because developers will be like, I don't like that.
There already is a legal precedent for it. I mean, it's their IP.
This builds a further.
I agree. Yeah. Like it's a scary thing to think like the industry sees this and sees like, oh well, they're taking it down because they don't want their game to be associated with an offensive person or offensive content. Why don't we all just do that? There's no more streamers, there's no more Let's Players, and we just hire internally, and we control the content and the game.
But on the flip side of that, the reason that so many developers, in spite of knowing this, continue to allow gameplay and allow streams and allow all that is because they do see it as a free exposure, free marketing for them. It's been a real trend with indies in particular, especially after, was it after Persona 5? There was some incident where a developer was saying, no, you can't do this. And a bunch of indies immediately came out and said, you can stream our games, you can do gameplay in our games, because indies in particular feel like they benefit even more than AAA games, because otherwise they have no budget. They rely on that sort of word of mouth.
Their advertising budget isn't able to keep up. Yeah.
Right. So I wonder if in particular we'll see a shift with indie titles where they start to put those sorts of clauses or at least like have reservations, be like, we reserve the right to take down videos if we don't want to be associated with you.
But the more that sort of, I mean, and again, there is already a precedent that's starting to make that dangerous. But
I mean, look at Nintendo.
The more dangerous.
Nintendo's a precedent, if anything.
Nintendo is very much a precedent. The more you make it a dangerous for content creators to make content like that, if they have to wonder if that is going to be a problem, if they're going to get a takedown or going to get sued, then that makes the industry not viable. If they can't feel free to just make stuff, it becomes the situation you're talking about, where it's like, well, I'll just wait until someone pays me.
Well, it seems like, it almost seems like it might go that way just by way of like, if all game developers said, no, you can't make content with our games, then there's no more Let's Play content, there's no more streams, but then they also take their own games and make the content with them, then they're the only ones making that content, so it's all driven to them and they get all the money from it. Like, that almost seems like...
Though they won't, because unless they're really good at picking who they hire.
But if they're the only people doing it and they hire former people that used to do it,
then streamers go underground.
You
getting that black market Twitch stream?
It's terrifying.
But they do. A lot of times developers are already doing that to some degree, in that most developers will do their own streams if they're going to show off a new feature, or if they're going to talk about some new stuff. They already do their own, but people still tune into community streams for a lot of purchasing decisions.
Right. It's the guy with the jacket is like, what do you need? I got a Let's Play in Stardew.
But what if there wasn't community streams? Because people follow suit with this Campo Santo thing. What if there wasn't any other content besides the official content from the creators?
Then we're looking at the exact same situation before Twitch came along. I mean,
Yeah.
video games got along, but word of mouth, especially for indies, was more difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, people will still. Here, the truth of the matter is, people will still make it. They'll still find a way to disseminate it. It's just companies like us that make money off of it won't exist anymore. The small streamers will go away because they won't be able to live off of it.
Yeah. Scary.
Yeah, interesting to see what comes of it.
Yeah.
It's like we said, I think the precedent's already there. I think it's just been a friendly gesture to allow people to continue.
The
to do
more it stacks up, the more developers will take use of it.
Do you think there is a future in which you go to a developer and say, I want to stream your game? And you get like a specific license from that developer for that game?
Yes.
I mean, that's Nintendo. That's already exists, right?
Right. So
yes.
that's the precedent set by Nintendo. But if streamers are starting to worry about this and maybe hold off on specific games because I don't know if this is going to work or not, then do you think it'll start to formalize the process between the developers and between the streamers and become a little bit less of a Wild West the way it is now?
Yeah, I do. And I also think there's going to be a lot more like profit sharing there. Like developers say, yes, we get X percentage of what you make during this stream. And it's going to be like a business thing now. There's going to be no small streamers, no small Let's Players.
Or if you have to, in order to get a streaming license or whatever from this developer, you have to agree, we won't do this, we won't do this, we won't do this.
Right.
And you'll see a lot of backlash from the audience. It'll really form a renegade segment if that's the case, because they're already, I mean, we get pretty negative reactions a lot of times on sponsored videos, even if it's something that's like we would have played and enjoyed anyway.
Yeah.
But just the idea that we
Start releasing torrents of Let's Plays, man.
it's gonna be like underground stuff, because there's gonna be a lot of people that won't have anything to do with the corporate line.
Yeah.
That's just not what that industry wants.
No, it's not. But
They want honesty. They want authenticity,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
you can't. They feel like you can't get that from. And to some degree, especially if it goes to your dystopian future,
scary.
you're right. You won't get it, because
Yeah.
if they have to go through these companies to get the permission to do it, then yeah, they're gonna have to suck it up.
Yeah. It's terrifying.
Well, hopefully it's not as bad as we think it is.
Right.
Fingers crossed. But it is something for us to be wary about at
Yes,
the very least.
just keep an eye on.
And be aware of. For sure.
Soylent games are made of streamers.
Delicious. You still doing Soylent?
Yeah. It's my morning drink now. It's so good.
Is that what
So
that thing
good.
you were drinking was?
Yeah. And it's like a little bit of caffeine in it.
Your voice gets really weird when you talk about
Yeah,
Soylent.
you know,
It's the parasites in his brain
I
activate.
really enjoy
The Soylent is delicious. You
Soylent,
should enjoy
and
it with me.
Everyone should taste it as well. Would you like some? Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah.
Let me get you a glass.
Well, what drinking your breakfast will never replace, I'm afraid, is actual delicious home-cooked meals.
Oh boy.
And I'd like to thank Blue Apron for sponsoring this episode of Glitch Please and helping us all be a wonderkind in the kitchen. For less than $10 per person per meal, Blue Apron delivers all these seasonal recipes along with pre-proportioned ingredients so you can make these delightful meals for yourself. You can choose from a variety of recipes. Every week they change it out and they don't repeat them, so you're always getting something different, something new to try. You can choose what the recipes you like, or you can let Blue Apron's culinary team surprise you. And the recipes, what did I say? It's a year before they'll be repeated, so you're not going to be eating the same thing over and over. Some of the upcoming meals include soy glazed pork, skillet vegetable chili, and garlic butter shrimp. Sounds delicious. Blue Apron's freshness guarantee promises that every ingredient in your delivery arrives ready to cook, or they'll make it right. Customize your recipes every week based on your preferences, and Blue Apron has several delivery options, so you can choose what fits your needs. There's no weekly commitment either, so you only get deliveries when you want them. If you're traveling, you're going off to PAX like Gus, you don't have to have a bunch of crazy food sitting on your porch not getting eaten. Blue Apron knows you're busy, so they're taking care of all of this for you. The meals are made with the same flavor and farm fresh ingredients you already know and love. Super easy to make. Check out this week's menu. Get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/glitch. That's blueapron.com/glitch. It's Blue Apron, a better way to cook. You know, I've been making meals at home a lot more recently, and it's really nice. I feel good about what I'm eating when I can see everything going into it and then see it combining and doing all the crazy kitchen chemistry to come delicious food.
I like it. I think it's a really even though it's work and something to do, it's still a good way to relax after having been at work all day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every dinner is me, but I hate cleaning it up.
Just,
Yeah.
we gotta
Cleaning
cook.
is difficult. But yeah, it's nice, and this is also a cool way to try different foods. You're like, I don't know how to make shrimp. Well, it walks you through it. That's great.
Shrimp's easy.
How's shrimp easy?
Shrimp's real easy.
There's like a billion ways to cook
There's
shrimp.
a lot of ways to cook shrimp.
The base, though, usually just like a little salt, a little pepper, throw it in the pan, cook it for about 5 minutes, you're done. Then just wait till it's not.
You ever like devein and like shell a bunch of
I
shrimp?
hate doing that.
Dude,
so
actually,
much.
It's like kind of cathartic. It's
No,
fun.
it's terrible.
Yeah, it takes like
So
forever.
you just need to get Adam over. You guys can cook
You
some together.
debate it.
I'll devein and shell. You cook.
All right, and the thing I like about this too, this offer, is that it's 3 meals, like free, and the shipping's free. So you're basically getting free food, like with no obligation. So
Just eat.
Consider it.
Yum.
All right, there's a game that came out, XCOM 2, War of the Chosen. Well, not a game, DLC, new content. It came out a couple of weeks ago, but we've been sort of playing through a bunch of new releases. We finally have a chance this week because this week's new releases, oddly enough, came out today on Thursday. So we'll probably be talking about those next week. I don't remember. But so we took the opportunity this week to play some XCOM 2 War of the Chosen. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, that's me.
That's actually
That's
the
your
monster.
gameplay.
That's my
Gus.
gameplay from vanilla XCOM 2. Oh, that was actually XCOM 2 DLC.
That was the last time you started a new campaign and you killed the guy in one shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. It's
Pretty cool.
Not one of the hunters.
So what's your history with XCOM?
So before we get started about War of the Chosen, I feel like I need to say I was given a copy of XCOM 2 War of the Chosen by 2K. So I need to say that
Oh,
right,
yeah,
off the
I did too.
right off the bat.
I forgot where I got it.
So I played the original XCOM a long time ago. Was it like 94 maybe? Then I've played XCOM Enemy Within. No, XCOM
There's
Enemy Unknown.
Enemy
and
Unknown.
then
Then I played
Enemy
XCOM
Within.
Enemy Within. Then I played XCOM 2, and I played all the XCOM 2 DLC. In fact, I just redid all the campaign, and now I'm not done with War of the Chosen, but I'm getting through it. I'm on a very difficult mission right now.
So
Yeah, you said
based on all that, would you say you're familiar with XCOM?
Yes, I would say so.
How about Ryan? Do you play a lot of XCOM?
I didn't play the original way back in the day, but I've played everything since Enemy Unknown, all the way through. So
All the new stuff. Adam,
multiple
You at
times.
all?
I played a lot of the remake of XCOM, Enemy Unknown, and the DLC for that. I have played XCOM 2 and some of the DLC, but I've not played War of the Chosen.
Okay, so I'm probably the lightest on the XCOM train. I played a little bit of Enemy Unknown, and I started XCOM 2, but I didn't get all that far into it. I got distracted by something else,
Probably Stardew
Persona.
Valley.
probably, and I never went back to it. So this was going back to it, and
This
maybe not have been the best thing to
that's
me to
interesting.
go back
It's
to.
a-
Interesting to
Much more
hear
advanced,
because
yeah.
War of the Chosen really builds on a lot of the core XCOM mechanics.
Yeah, so
And
I've got a description here of just like what it does, and this is pulling from their Wikipedia. So if you don't know about XCOM 2, it's a turn-based tactics game, and the War of the Chosen expansion makes a bunch of changes to the campaign structure, adds new enemies, hero characters, modifiers, behaviors for characters. It introduces a new set of enemy aliens called the Chosen, 3 elite alien warriors tasked by the Elders to defeat XCOM and recapture the commander. There's the Assassin, which uses stealth and is able to kidnap the player's soldiers directly from the battlefield.
fuck that assassin.
The Hunter, it's an alien-human hybrid that uses long-range rifles, and the Warlock that uses psionic powers and can summon additional enemies during battle. And then, as the game progresses, the Chosen gain new exclusive abilities and eventually become able to launch a direct attack on the Avenger. The Chosen continue to appear occasionally during missions even after being defeated and can only be killed for good once their base is destroyed as well. The game also introduces 3 rebel factions that antagonize each other but grant special hero classes once their allegiance is earned. The Reapers specialize in sniping and stealth, the Templars who develop unique psionic abilities, and the Skirmishers, former Advent soldiers with exclusive equipment equipment and tactics. Each faction also provides covert ops missions in which soldiers can be deployed to obtain extra resources, delay the Avatar project, or gather information about the Chosen's strongholds, including other benefits. Other new features include a revamped strategic layer and the bond system, in which pairs of soldiers develop special abilities that are accessible when both are deployed during a mission, and when bonded soldiers are killed, their partners enter temporarily a berserk mode, ignoring orders but with a huge boost in their stats. And then the expansion also adds a neutrally aligned zombie-like enemy type called the Lost. They're former humans that will attack both the Advent and XCOM in battle, along with new Advent units with exclusive abilities. That's a lot of stuff to add on to an already complex game.
I don't think I would recommend that someone who's never played XCOM jump right into War of the Chosen.
I would also not recommend that.
Like it's such a dramatic change from XCOM 2 that, I mean, when you launch War of the Chosen for the first time, it runs you through the same tutorial as XCOM 2, and then just takes you off on
which you
War
can
of the
opt
Chosen,
out of.
which you can opt out of. But that tutorial is good for like the very basic, like this is how you move a player, this is how you shoot, and then it's like, all right, you're off to the races. You
have a good
everything else out. Yeah.
Well, and one of the charms about XCOM is that it's very complex, it's very layered, it's very deep, and if you're not familiar with all of that, adding all of these other things on top of it, just to get used to, it's very intimidating.
I feel like I would be able to jump into it from zero if it weren't for the meta game of XCOM. I feel like that's the one part, like even after all my time with XCOM, I'm just really bad at trying to decide like where I want to move to, what things I want to uncover, and that sort of stuff, and like what to research. And like I have a lot of fun in the missions, but the meta game I'm like not the biggest fan.
I think I was really bad at it the first time I played XCOM 2, but my most recent playthrough of XCOM 2, I felt like it finally all clicked, and I finally got it, and I had no trouble with the meta on that run through. It was like everything was under control the entire time.
Maybe you're talking about basically the RTS part of the game.
About like the base building side, basically, where it's like, what do you research for your base, and where do you go, and what parts of the map do you unlock?
Yeah, the parts of the map, what you unlock, that's the part that can screw you the hardest.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you didn't get to these things in time, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Or if you did certain bases that can reduce your avatar progress or things
Excuse
like
me, what happened to RTV?
Huh? What? I don't know. That's what that looks like.
Ryan and Gilby happened to it.
Man, those coasters are like way too fun to play with.
But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's definitely challenging.
So how do you like the bond system? And the exhaustion system, which are major changes.
Yeah, those were huge. I don't think they had mentioned the exhaustion aspect.
That's a big one. Previously, you could build a team and just keep running them, but now they get tired, and if they get tired and you run them on a mission, then they can get like traits.
Yeah.
I was doing a stream Let's Play, and I made like several people from the achievement hunter office, and my guy became overly aggressive because I ran him when I shouldn't have.
So you're saying that art imitated life?
I guess. I think now if I put him in Overwatch, he just shoots at anything.
Oh, cool. But yeah, I mean, I at first I really struggled with that exhaustion system because I liked focusing my efforts on a few soldiers and building like a really awesome core team, which you can't do anymore because you can't run them into the ground. So you kind of have to spread that experience everywhere, and I mean, it adds to it. You encounter situations where your good guys are exhausted, or your reserves are injured, and you're sending like a ragtag group of tired or hurt people out there, and it
definitely makes it feel way more intense.
I thought about this, and I think I really like it in Darkest Dungeon because it makes you play with different characters. But in Darkest Dungeon, what you do is you end up like grinding a lot, like to get like several teams that are all like up to snuff and like high level. But in XCOM, there's a timer, and if you run out of like time in the world, you're gonna fuck yourself. Is that like in this expansion have they sort of like lessened that timer? So you have time to like no.
You still have a timer and the timer is the Avatar project. Yeah, and you can do missions and do things that reduce the Avatar project or set the Avatar project back. I guess is a better way to say it. So you can work to like delay the timer, but it's still going.
There's a lot of ways you could very easily, move straight in and follow a pretty direct route to destroying the Avatar project, or you can do a lot more of a circuitous kind of path and just unlock a bunch of things. And they'll spawn bases. If you destroy the base, that'll set the project back. And there are ways to delay or reset the timer a bit.
Gotcha.
One of the things that I like about the XCOM series is all of the stories that eventuate when you start naming characters after people in your life.
Yeah.
Or because you start to tell, you died right off, you went on to save the world, this was crazy. And then the bond system just makes those stories crazier. I remember we talked to one of the developers, 83, and was telling a story about how in the game, he'd made like himself and his friends, and his wife is in there, and then like his wife ended up forming a bond with his best friend instead, and so they were like a super close duo, and it started to get weird.
But yeah, I do like the bond system. I think it's an interesting, another layer to add into the game. It sucks when one person in a bond dies though, because the other soldier does not like that.
Are you playing Iron Man?
I'm not. I should restart my playthrough and do Iron Man. I need to.
Or just don't reload any saves.
I normally don't.
So then, why would you? What's the need?
What?
It's different though when you know that you can't.
Yeah, it's really different.
Like if you lost someone late in the game, you're like, I love that character. Maybe I'll just. And that was bullshit that they died.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that's absolute
It was
horseshit.
cheating. The game was cheating.
The game, the RNG just was rigged. They deserve to live. Iron Man, they're like, oh, they're dead.
Yeah, tough shit.
Yeah.
Too bad.
When you're in need of another like game similar to that, you should definitely check out Darkest Dungeon, because that will scratch the same itch in a way.
Cool.
You mean in terms of like not
Maybe.
wearing individual
The game-
characters out?
It's a little bit less. Yeah, like it's a lot more. It's a little bit less like of a tactical like RTS.
Yeah, the
but
combat's very different.
it still has that a similar meta aspect where you're trying to build teams and unlock different buildings and upgrade and like do upgrade paths and things like that. It's really fun.
And by the way, I think this is now out on console as well.
Nice.
Originally, it was just on PC.
What?
Yeah.
XCOM 2?
War of the Chosen.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't
Believe it
realize
released
it was
last
on.
week. I'm looking it up.
Yeah, I
last
saw
week.
ads for it on the dashboard.
So overall, recommend, but if you're new to XCOM, hold on.
Well, if you're new to XCOM, I mean, you have to buy XCOM 2 to play it anyway. Play through XCOM 2 and then play War of the Chosen. In fact, when you launch XCOM 2 now, a splash screen comes up asking, do you want to launch XCOM 2 or do you want to launch XCOM 2 War of the Chosen? Play some XCOM 2, get familiar with that, and then do War.
Are you playing with all the DLC on too?
No, I do not have the DLC on. I should do a new playthrough. I should just re-add it all. Yeah, I'm gonna restart. I'm stuck on a really hard mission on War of the Chosen right now. It's making me
Stuck
really
how? What's
angry.
happened?
I cannot complete it. I die every time.
You lose your entire
I
squad.
lose my entire squad.
So just have a save that's too late, or you from the get-go
I don't know.
can do nothing.
I
to
have
make
no
it right?
I have no idea what my problem is. So that's why I'm starting to play through. I think all my soldiers are too weak.
Oh.
And I can't. I guess what we talked about. I can't form an effective squad.
Uh-huh.
So
Because
it's-
your ace team is worn out.
my ace teams. I think my ace team's worn out or injured, and
I
everyone.
wonder what the DLC turned on, if they have some kind of workaround for the idea of like Shin's Last Gift, you get the mech soldiers.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they need to be recharged, like what's their equivalent of tired? Or maybe they don't get tired, but they also don't form bonds.
Maybe.
But they can't form, they can't go into cover, so they maybe just the fact that they get wrecked.
Yeah, that did suck about them. They were great. That they were mobile cover, but
Yeah.
you needed to fix them. Like they couldn't just heal on their own.
Right.
All right, so a slightly less intimidating version, for sure, if you are new to turn-based strategy tactical games in general, for sure, Mario Rabbids. But that actually leads us into, I think, a nice discussion about genres that have like gone through some difficulties, some downswings, died off a little bit, but made some resurgences. Shall we?
Yes.
I feel like in the past few years, strategy games have seen a really nice resurgence. It seems like they went through a dip, and this was several years ago. But then, we got more games. XCOM, I think, Enemy Unknown did a great job of sort of bringing attention back to the genre in general. There's a lot of ones that have existed, but not necessarily gone mainstream. XCOM, when it came out, did huge numbers. A lot of people played it. It got a lot more people who had maybe never even considered the strategy genre to give it a go, have fun with it. And now I feel like strategy is in a reasonably healthy place.
Yeah, and I'm really happy because I love turn-based strategy games, and I'm glad to see that we're starting to see more of those again.
Yeah, and I think that the next, maybe like even another step in that is Mario Rabbids being a very friendly, very approachable, and yet as you get into it, like you start out and it explains things to you and you're like, I get this, I understand, and then you go through and it'll introduce new things. It's very good pacing, a lot of new mechanics and new abilities.
It can
and new
pull children in
considerations.
and have them start playing that
That's
type
right.
of game.
Gotta get them while
Build
they're
the
young.
market, yeah.
You know,
Take it
and
easy, Father Dory.
so that might introduce that like another generation or a whole new wave of people into strategy games who will finish Mario Rabbids and think, I liked that type of game. What should I check out next? And then maybe they'll build into something like XCOM.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, but there are a lot of genres that don't have that yet. For example, one of the genres that I'm a bit sad about because I don't see nearly as many games in it anymore is like point-and-click adventures. There just aren't a lot of those anymore. And for a while, it seemed like every other game was a point-and-click.
It just was what was technologically feasible there back in the day.
Wasn't there a King's Quest re-release that came out recently?
I think there was like a fan-made thing. I don't know that there was a first party, was there?
I'm looking it up.
I feel like that style of adventure game has made somewhat of a return, though.
With what though?
I'm trying to think.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know there
What
was
is- what-
there
late
was
last year?
Broken Age,
Was
What
it
kind of
a
game is
and that was a
first
point
party
and
what
click.
kind of game is like
Looks like it.
Kentucky Route Zero?
I'm not sure.
I know. I think
What
it's
was it?
Kentucky Route Zero is kind of a point and click.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there have been a few just like smaller ones that people are really into.
It was,
But it's not my genre.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt. I'm going to answer Ryan's question real fast. It was episodic. It was 5-chapter release, published by Sierra.
Sierra
That was that was the
exists?
King's Quest.
Apparently. So yeah, I mean, it's out there. I see it here on Steam. You can buy it for, you can play chapter 1 for free, buy it all for $25.
How's it look? Reviews any good?
Let's see. It looks all right. Kind of cel-shaded. Do we have it? Oh, is that it?
Oh yeah, they had this on TS Plus for free.
I believe it plays very
Oh,
much
yeah,
like
yeah, I
a
remember
Telltale
this.
game.
What's that?
I believe it plays very much like a Telltale game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in fact, it seems like Telltale has kind of taken up the banner
Yeah.
for a lot, and which is weird because it's not so much a point-and-click puzzle game as a point-and-click choice-making game, but there's at least like that seems maybe
Sort of
where
like
it's
an evolution of
evolved
it, yeah.
into, or like it's made just a little bit of a shift to the side, and I'm not sure what can be done to really revitalize point-and-clicks, and it may be too that maybe VR. Where you can look around and you're looking for something in your environment to solve a certain puzzle, but you can't advance or you can't move forward until you do, and so it can like.
I
put
mean,
you
those
in
exist.
places.
Yeah, they do.
The escape rooms are huge on VR.
Yeah, I mean escape rooms in general. I do like even real life escape rooms.
That's like a real-life
Absolutely love them.
point-and-click.
I've never
Yeah.
done one.
Yeah. No,
They're fun.
escape rooms are great. There was a place here in Austin. Did it close? There was one here that
I
did.
thought there's a couple.
That did like really fun ones. There was like knockoff Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Uh,
the
there's-
music one, right?
there's-
I
still
Yeah,
there, yeah.
there's the knockoff.
think it's called Escape Room ATX.
There we go. They had the knockoff superhero one, and they were working on a knockoff. Well, I don't know if it was a knockoff, but they were working on a Western-themed one last time I went there. And they were a lot of fun to do. We got a bunch of people in one room, and we managed to solve them, but it's a lot of running around and shouting and turning over banners and looking on the bottom of tables and chairs for any kinds of clues. And it did feel like a point and click come to life.
Yeah,
That's cool.
That's an interesting way to think about it. That's really cool.
Isn't there going to be some kind of interaction like with LA Noire and the Switch on like investigation?
There's going to be there's actually VR LA Noire.
Yes.
Which is they're going to have like specific missions that are VR based, which are going to be I think like that where you're looking for clues in real life or in VR.
And that kind of thing sounds really cool. Like I would love to see something like that come back because a lot of the way, well, not all of them, but what I liked about some adventure games was you'd be in an area and then you could essentially like rotate 360 degrees around in your environment to see things. And you did that at the time with a mouse, but if you could do it with VR instead and just look around your environment, feel like you're in the middle of it, but be needing to solve a puzzle to like move to the next step, I would be fully on board with that.
Yeah.
Still keeps it niche, unfortunately, because VR is, is still pretty niche. There aren't nearly as many people with the headsets, but it might lend itself pretty well to the lower fi VR as well, like mobile-based VR, because it doesn't need to be doing crazy high fidelity.
I mean, I didn't play the new King's Quest, but it did look much more telltale. Now that I saw that footage, I do remember it. And I think Jeff played it and said it was okay. But the ones from back in the day, the ones I really remembered, they just had such cool stories to them. The Space Quest series was kind of very
Space Quest is cool, dude.
It's great. It's very tongue-in-cheek. I mean, literally, you had the option, like, the way that used to work is you'd right-click to just cycle through, like, the different interaction options. There was, like, a hand, an eye, like touch, I want to see it, I want to talk to it, or at Space Quest, they added lick. You could just lick things. There was always interesting descriptions of what would happen.
I mean,
some things would dissolve your mouth.
Why wouldn't you?
Exactly. Why wouldn't you? Your Space Quest was the journeys of Roger Wilco, space janitor.
Yeah, kind of the closest games you'll get to that nowadays is Kentucky Route Zero, which I think is getting a console release in early 2018. It looks very much like an old school, like point-and-click adventure where you're just kind of walking around and trying to get more information about the world. And then for LA Noire, yeah, the Switch version is getting console-specific features, so like gyroscopic, gesture-based controls with HD Rumble, and like contextual touchscreen controls for portable detective work is what Rockstar has said on it.
Yeah, and then not that long ago, so the creators of Myst put out Abduction. They kickstarted it. They put it out on PC. I'm not sure if it ever came to console.
It got VR support.
Yeah, it got VR support, and that was pretty cool.
I haven't tried it, but I really want to.
I'd like to see more, because that's, it's less, like with Abduction, you're not just in one spot and then you solve that puzzle and then you like move to the next spot where you're standing still. You do walk around freely in the environment, and it's beautiful. But it's also, it very much feels like that callback to Myst and to those style of puzzles where it gives you no introduction and no guidance and no help. It's just, you gotta do a thing, best of luck. And I like that, and I miss it. It's a beautiful game. It's stylized, so it's not anything too crazy, but appreciated that they brought it to VR as well. But let's see, what are some other genres that you think have maybe died back?
For me, it's not that recent, or it's not that old, but it's the Western MMO, like
the Western
MMOs in general, honestly.
like there are
MMOs
a lot of,
have shifted into something else.
There's so many MMOs that are like the Asian MMOs that will be ported over to English, but I miss the sort of.
I thought you meant like Westerns.
Yeah, I get it.
No, sorry.
That's what I thought also.
I'm super sorry.
Okay.
No,
I'm trying to think of an example.
I mean, non-Asian MMO. Like, there's a very distinct style there.
Yeah.
Like, the EverQuest and World of Warcraft are, like, those kind of games are what I kind of miss the most. And obviously, WoW is still around, but it's, after playing it for so many years, it's a little stale. Like, we're not really seeing that sort of rush to make those sort of games anymore. I think the last couple I played were like Star Wars: The Old Republic, which was really fun. I played it for like 6 months. When you can play a game for 6 months, like, that's a great feeling.
Well, I think it says a lot that Elder Scrolls Online came out and initially was following that sort of old school release model where the game cost money and then it was also a monthly subscription to play. And the industry and gaming culture had largely moved on by that point. And so with its release model, Elder Scrolls Online did not do well.
Yeah.
But then they changed it up. They modernized it. They made a bunch of shifts, and it seems like the player base is going up. But it's one of the few new MMOs that's even coming out. The Western ones, again. I don't know a whole lot about the Asian MMOs because so few of them come here.
There was the Conan one that kind of flopped.
Exiles?
Yeah.
Exiles was the survival game.
Yeah, single player.
There was a Conan MMO, though.
Yeah, that just kind of tanked. I think that's maybe part of the problem is there's a lot of.
It was a land grab for a while. Everyone saw WoW and everyone wanted to make an MMO.
There were so many MMOs.
But
in
no one
development.
wanted to take the time to build the world that people wanted to live in.
Right.
That was, Warcraft had such a leg up because it had this whole series of games and this whole universe that existed, and that was an interesting universe that people wanted to enter.
Yep.
And they've tried it, like the Elder Scrolls Online is a great example of having a universe that already existed that people would want to take part in. I just don't know that it worked quite as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, I think, partially, like, it was a different era. It was partially the release model, but now they've been releasing a lot of new stuff that is quite interesting. Like they released their Morrowind expansion. I'm like, hell yeah. I'll go check out Morrowind. But I don't know if it's not that easy to get people into a game when it didn't have a whole lot of momentum to begin with. It's a harder uphill climb for sure. And it's just, there are not many. I don't know if MMOs are going to come back because I think they've shifted in a lot of ways. Like I would describe Destiny 2 as MM-ish.
Yeah.
Ish, indeed.
Yeah, my biggest like long-term dream for Destiny is that they give it some sort of secondary system, like secondary progression, where you can level up not necessarily just your armor and your weapons, but things like a job. Like I want to fish in Destiny, but their worlds aren't really
fish in Destiny.
Their worlds aren't really built that way, and they don't have a trade system. But maybe one day they might.
You want to go fishing in post-apocalypse Earth?
I just want to.
What's going to come out of
more
that
shit
water?
to do in that game because I love that game.
Fair enough. You want to have more reason to inhabit the universe instead of just interact with it.
I love fishing in video games too.
It's fun.
Yeah. Except in Stardew Valley, where it's very frustrating.
Is it frustrating?
Yeah.
It's not that frustrating.
It's terrible.
Really?
What a
You don't
life.
like it?
I just started. Maybe it's because I'm like at the entry level.
You'll get there.
Hopefully.
Fishing will be fine. It's all about the days and the times and the locations. And the weather.
It's like I
And
feel
the
like
lure.
yeah, whatever.
And if you have a Fishmaster 3000, just throw dynamite in. Who cares? Just blow them up.
Bamboo
Drain
pole.
the lake. That'll get them all.
Yeah. What about you? Do you think of any?
You
genres
know,
that you'd like to see come back?
there's a game genre that I think it was awful, and I
Okay.
still want another one.
What?
Do you guys remember when they used to make like full motion video?
Oh
Oh
God.
God,
like-
FMV.
Look.
Yes.
Wing Commander 3 and 4 were great.
They just released Night Trap. Go play that.
They did re-release Night Trap. That's another good example, but that's a re-release.
It's another example.
It is an example. I told you, they were awful. Like, the acting was generally terrible. And the sets were usually very bad CG backgrounds. Like, it was almost all green screen.
My favorite FMV remains Zork Grand Inquisitor.
See? But there's so many great memories in those things.
There really are. It's like they're cheesy. They know it. They don't
Yeah.
care.
I think
Own
it's a genre that almost only works at SD.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
it goes to HD, you see too much.
Well, what about like Her Story?
yeah, I was gonna say technically her story is an FMV game.
That was done really well.
Yeah. That's a good example. But I want more of a theatrical tale. Like, that's just kind of an interrogation. Take me on a journey.
Okay.
You want to see those beautiful, shitty sets?
Yeah. Well, I mean, nowadays I'm sure they can do it better. Plus, those were essentially like movie versions of Choose Your Own Adventure novels.
Right now they're all doing just like motion capture for 3D models.
What is this? This Command and Conquer?
Command and Conquer, it looks like.
Yeah. This is the new Command and Conquer, I think.
There's a new
Newest.
Command and Conquer?
Newest.
Look how
Command and
great
Conquer.
they are. I mean, they
that
got
his name?
they got that
Michael
guy who's
Stromae?
like that guy.
Peter.
You know?
Peter Stormare.
Yeah, that's
There we
Yeah.
go. He's one of the quintessential that guys.
Yeah. Was that Tim
Tim
Roth?
Curry, dude.
Tim Curry's?
Fucking the original
Yes.
Pennywise.
Look at all the people
Oh
that
my
you would
God!
recognize.
Everyone is in it. It's the High Sparrow. That was a ride.
There's also
I feel like I should, in that lady, I feel like I should know every one of these people.
You know what we should do is oh my
Is
God,
that George Takei?
It is George
Yeah.
Takei.
Holy fuck.
we should make our own FMV game.
We should, I think
J.R. Simmons? I
Yep.
can't remember his name.
J.K. Simmons.
JK.
J-
We were
just-
so close on
JK.
so many names.
We're in the neighborhood.
We should absolutely have an RT FMV game. That'd be
really
great.
fun. We've got an RT Games division. We should
Filmed
get them
in-
on
I'm
this.
sure they would love
Filmed
to
in
make a
HD
fucking
2D.
Yeah.
FMV game with us. God.
Only if we can make it sci-fi though.
Yeah.
Like I feel like proper FMV needs to be some crazy sci-fi stuff.
What was an FMV point and click VR adventure?
You got chocolate in my peanut butter.
That's right.
All right, we're gonna do this.
Someone laughed.
It's all gonna
delivered
happen.
that.
Thank you, control room. Gus, any thoughts on genres?
I don't think I can think of really any that I miss or I wish would come back.
I can tell you another one that's making a comeback.
What's that?
That's the open world collectathons.
Ugh.
A little
Dreadful.
bit.
Did they ever
Just a
really
little
go
bit.
away?
Yeah, of course they did.
No.
They did. As soon as
No.
people got better with 3D, all of those games sort of went away, and they're now coming back with, well, I mean, so Ukulele wasn't the greatest success,
Yeah.
but it's it was a good example. People wanted to see collectathons come back. That's why they backed it.
I mean, there's still collectathons everywhere.
I think
Collectathon is something that is like an undercurrent in every several major games.
No,
It's in GTA.
You're right. You're right. I think that collectathons may have made that shift into here's the game. Also, there's stuff to collect. Like I'm again going through Mario Rabbids right now, and there's all these different places that you can go and try and do like these mini puzzles or figure out this way to get over to this thing to collect the stuff.
There you go.
So maybe they've just made a bit of a shift into having games in them.
Yep.
But overall, lots of fun. Any other thoughts?
No.
All right. Then that is this episode of Glitch Please. We'll be back next week talking about more fun games as soon as we remember what came out this week. What came out this week?
Divinity Original Sin 2 came out today.
And then what was the other one? There's another game that came out today.
I think Metroid came out today, didn't it?
Metroid Samus Returns.
Yeah.
So we'll be back next week talking about more video games. If you are watching this, please give us a nice thumbs up. If you are listening to this either on iTunes or on the Google Play Store, please leave our podcast a review. It really helps us out. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.